through the magic of video, it's next week. Funny, it tastes like the same cup of coffee as the last video. Today is going to be a short little fun video for you guys. A little bit of behind the scenes. We put the fish house out. I'm going to talk about the fish house and ice fishing this winter. My goodness, did we catch some fish. And we caught some big ones. Especially in the fish nugget department. That's where I got my nephews. I got my nephew, my great nephews, the grandsons, my daughter. They all go out and they fish for bass and pike and white perch and stuff like that, so we can have fish nugget fish fries. And we just had a big one out on the ice. We had the last day of the fish house was on the ice. We brought out all the fixings to have a fish nugget fry, and we had a fish nugget fry. I had that fryer-later going for about 2.5 hours. Just one batch of fish nuggets after another. Had a lot of people there to feed, and we would just, as soon as they, you want to eat them while they're hot. So as soon as they came out, I was shoveling another batch of fish nuggets all ready to cook up. And it went like that for 2.5 to 3 hours. And after a while, we still had fish to cook. But after a while, I was just plain tired of cooking fish. So I said, last call on the kitchen. Last call on the kitchen. I probably still had another 2 to 3 pounds of fish in the cooler. But my goodness, I'd been cooking for almost 3 hours. So usually, and that's how I beat into my nephew over the years, is you always pull the fish house when the pulling is good. You don't wait. You pull the fish house when the pulling is good, because you don't want to get into trouble. Well, this year was really close. It was really close. Well, what happened was, I would have pulled it. It would have been 2 weeks ago. I would have pulled it 2 weeks ago on a Sunday, but the reason I didn't pull it is because we had 40 and 50 mile an hour gusts of wind blowing across the lake, and it was clear ice, so there was no controlling the fish house once it got untied from it. I put them up on 6x6s, the fish house, and we tie it down all 4 corners, and then once I cut it loose, I wouldn't have had any control over that fish house. If a 50 mile an hour wind caught it, it would have blown it down the lake like a big ice skate. So anyways, on that Saturday before, we were out there ice fishing, and we're all standing beside the fish house, and a gust of wind hit it and blew it right off the 6x6s. Broke one of the skis, so the ski was on enough that we could get it home, but it broke one of the skis that are under it, so I've got to do a little repair to it before next year. So we'll have to get that fixed up. But anyways, we weren't able to get the fish house because of the wind back up on the blocking, so we just tied it down. I drilled some more holes and tied some more ropes on just to hold it in place through that windy weekend. I'm talking, 40, 50 mile an hour winds was pretty powerful out there on the ice. So I decided to wait a week, which had been 1 week. And what happened, and the problem of that week is we had so much going on in other areas that I knew I wasn't going to be able to get back to it before the next Saturday. Well, by the next Saturday, the shoreline had opened up quite a bit to where you could walk on it first thing in the morning, but you couldn't walk on it in the afternoon, because the first, say, 25 feet of ice on the southern shore it was 2 inches thick at best, and not very solid. So we got out there anyway. Make a long story short, we got out there at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, the day we were going to pull the fish house, and it was tough getting on the ice. The main ice is still 18 inches of ice, so once you get past that 25 feet, you've got all kinds of ice out on the main pack of the ice. And it was cloudy, so I figured we were going to be all set for a little while. But about 9 o'clock in the morning, the sun came out. And now I know we're in trouble. So, and my nephew, he had high hopes of keeping the fish house out there all day long because his wife was coming down for the first time. So, but 9 o'clock, once that sun came out, I started cutting the fish house free. And when he got over, I said, "Hey, we gotta push this thing to shore, and we gotta get it up on land." Well, he wasn't very happy, and he moaned and groaned all the way back to shore. The way kids do, even though he's 40. But I kept telling him all the way back. I said, "This afternoon, you're gonna thank me. You're gonna thank me for doing this now." Well, he really didn't believe me. But he did apologize for his attitude. So we got over the shore, got to where I could hook onto it with the truck, and then we pulled it up into the parking lot. Then we all went out ice fishing. We all went out, got on the ice, and went out to where the shack was, because we had a big kitchen set up out there. Table, we had a table set up, we had the fryer later set up, and it was just like a bunch of gypsies out there. So we fished, we caught a couple of fish, we cleaned those up, threw those in the pot while we were cooking fish. And then about 2 o'clock, everybody kind of decided, the sun is out, it's probably 50 degrees. And being like kids, we all picked up, and my two great nephews, they're in their early 20s, and then my nephew, he's 40-ish, somewhere in that area. And but anyways, the two younger ones, like kids, they got to be 50 yards ahead of everybody. So they headed to shore. They got about 15 feet from shore, and this is the funny story. They got about 15 feet from shore, maybe 20 feet from shore, and the first one falls in right up to his chest. In water. Well, I know the shoreline, so I know he's not in trouble. So nobody's really worried. But here's where the funny story comes in. His other brother, he walks out right where the nephew went through. He walks out and falls in the same hole. He went off to one side, but down he went up to his chest. And that's still pretty funny how people can see someone fall through and then just follow them right into the same hole. So out they went, they got up on shore and all that. Well, my nephew's wife, I holler at her and I said, "Don't go that way, it's not safe." Well, she couldn't hear me, I guess, because she took one more step and down she went, right up to her chest. So... and then, of course, my nephew had to go in and save her. So all four of them was wet, up to their chest by the time it was all said and done. I had my chisel. And when I got to shore, I said, "You guys should have followed the old guy. The guy that got off the ice with dry feet." I took my chisel, and what I was looking for was an old snowmobile trail. So I got off, I was on the safe ice, and then I just picked my way in. There was 6 inches of water above the ice, but I just picked my way in, finding that old snowmobile trail, and then I got into shore with nice dry feet. And then I told them guys, he says, the old guy, he'd been reading ice for 50 years. I was trying, telling the younger guys, have some, if you'd followed me, you might got to shore dry-footed. But I've been laughing over that for a week. You kind of maybe had to be there, but it was pretty funny. So we got the fish house loaded up into the trailer, and then I got my nephew there, the one I told in the morning, "You'll thank me later." So I got my arm around him, and I said, "Hey, his name's Danny." I said, "Hey, Danny." I said, "Now's when you want to thank me." And he did. He said, I understand now, Uncle Tom. I understand now, Uncle Tom. I told him, I says, can you imagine that fish house out there in 4 feet of water? My goodness, what a nuisance that'd be to get that thing out of the water. So, we got the fish house to dry land. We got me to dry land. We got the fish house on the trailer. And everything is back home now. But what a fishing season we had. So now we still got some fish left, and I'm going to take the boys, my 4 grandsons, and I'm going to take them over to the shooting range. We have a nice big duck pond there. Oh, it's a good sized one. I don't know how many acres it is, but it's a good sized duck pond. So I'm going to back the truck up there, and we're going to have a tailgate lunch, and I'm going to have the fish fry for the grandsons over there around that duck pond, and they can bring their fish pole. There's fish in there. There's bass in there. I know. Might even be a brookie or 2. Who knows? I know they put it in. The gun club maintains it with some fish for the kids to play with. So that'll make a good spot for the kids. It's all mowed all the way around the little duck pond. So that'll make a great place to have a fish fry for the grandsons. So that's the next plan of attack, anyways. But that's the funny winter story for the fish house. I wish we could get back to when the fish house could get out on that lake the 1st of January, because it just gives you a whole nother month of fishing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Alrighty. But you guys have a sip of coffee with me on the way out. And I'll see you next week, because I want to start playing with this 45 Colt. It's time to go shoot it. It's time to go shoot it. But it was a good learning experience for the kids. Good learning experience for my nephew and the 2 great nephews, just to see how to get off the ice at the end of the season. And out on that ice there was a lot of people fishing that day. I'll bet you there was another 10 people out there fishing different parts of the lake, because it's a small lake and it was still safe for fishing. So I'm sure that's why so many people went out. But alrighty, I'll see you next week, and have a good week.